Good morning. Hello and welcome to another M30M live stream. I am feeling so sleepy today. I just did not fall asleep last night. No good reason. I just laid in bed till like 3 in the morning and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so tired. I completely finished my coffee, ready to have a good stream with y'all. I'm gonna be sculpting some lollipop trees, which is kind of different than my usual. It's pretty often that I sculpt like characters and monsters, that kind of stuff, but I really just sculpt whatever D&D or tabletop model requests I get on Patreon. So I had someone that asked for some cute trees and stuff that are all, you know, like candy cane themed. So let's go ahead and get rolling and start sculpting those. I have a timer for today. I'm gonna do things in 30-minute chunks because, again, I am so sleepy today. And that kind of helped like keep my brain together and on track. So. Oh, and the last thing, Patreon finally rolled out like discount codes and stuff. So if you're interested in my mentorship program and learning how to use ZBrush, all the good stuff, I have a code there that's 10% off your first month. So pretty cool. All right, and that's linked in the chat. I should mention that. All right, let's get our 30 minutes going and we'll get rolling. I see my husband is here, Ricky. Good morning. All right, so this is a bit different than my usual. I'm gonna change my material, and I like this I found online a lot, so I'm basing this candy cane tree lollipop thing largely on that, and then depending how I'm feeling, I'll make some other like cute little things to go with it. This is reminding me a lot of the board game Candyland. Hey, Sparky Face is here. Good morning. Always good to see a familiar, or I guess read a familiar face. So the first thing I'm going to do is create this base here. And this is going to have a really fun, cute color palette too. I'm looking forward to it. So I'm going to start finding these initial shapes by using a lot of Dynamesh. And I'm also going to bump up my ambient occlusion and my environment just so it's a little bit brighter and easier for y'all to see. Just a couple small things. All right, let's start finding the shape of this tree here. Again, it's gonna be like this very fantastical, cute tree. And I also want this to be very 3D printing friendly, so there's a couple considerations here. All right, pretty happy with that as a beginning base. I'm gonna go ahead and use Zero Mesher at half, and that just makes this topology look a little cleaner. Also go with Curve Tube, change my stroke modifier to be a negative linear, and that will make it so it has this really nice like taper. There's gonna be a lot of like curly cues and just general swirls. There we go, how cute is that? I think I'm making this a little too large for the base, but I can always adjust that later. Now I can go with Move Topological, grab some of these volumes that I'm finding, kind of get a better blend here. Something that I know is usually pretty interesting to people that don't do a lot of sculpting, and especially like new students. Even though I have this gigantic brush palette, these are all the brushes I have in ZBrush right now. Most of them are default, but some of them are some customs I've imported. I really only use about 3 or 4 brushes to do 80% of my sculpting. And that'd be Move, Standard, and I'd probably say Damp Standard. All right, let's go ahead and add some more fun branches. I'm gonna change my picker mode to once Z instead of continuous, and that just means that it's going to only connect to one piece of the mesh and then freeform out into space. It's not trying to conform to any one shape, if that makes sense. Something I love about the curve brush is you end up with these different volumes and meshes you can then go through and easily select and adjust. There we go. I also like using Move Topological for that because then I don't have to do any fancy masking or anything. I can just go ahead and go straight in with my brush. I'm gonna make sure I inflate most of these volumes here because I really wanna make sure that I don't have any 3D printing headaches to deal with. I'm kind of asking for some problems with these swirls right here, but they're so nice, so I'm gonna keep them and figure it out. I hope your week is off to a good start. Monday is actually the end of my work week. I take Tuesdays and Wednesdays off, so I won't be seeing you guys tomorrow, but I'll be back on Thursday. I'll make sure to send you guys off with a good start to your week. All right, so we got our kind of swirly shapes here. I'm gonna change my paintbrush to be drag rectangle instead, which kind of helps me get these really nice, smooth, buttery gradients. And then the color palette here, since it's like this candy land, I can really do like these pink tones and stuff. Really just have fun with it. All right, let's start getting the actual lollipop shape, shall we? Taylor's here. Hey, welcome back. Taylor says, my week is off to a great start indeed. Oh, I'm so glad. About to invest in a resin printer and a year of ZBrush. Ooh, that is a fun day indeed. Oh, I'm excited to hear it. Awesome, awesome. You've been asking a lot of really good questions in my Discord, but if you have any more, I'm happy to answer them live as well. 3D printing is like the best pain, if that makes sense. Like, you're gonna have problems, you're gonna have troubleshooting, but resin is pretty straightforward. I'm glad you're looking into resin and not FDM from the kind of stuff that you've talked to me about that you're interested in. I definitely think resin would suit you better. So right now I'm kind of bringing these volumes up so I can get a nicer blend. Also makes the tree a little more interesting to look at. All right, getting this really cute whimsical tree here. I think I want to add some curly cues going in the opposite direction just for a nice bit of balance. So I'm going to duplicate this form here and just put a nice little curl right here. I'm also going to use the gizmo to stretch this out in one direction. It's just a really easy, cheap way to add a bunch of volume without disturbing any silhouettes. There we are. Excuse me. All right, this is coming together pretty quickly. We need to start getting these awesome lollipops in here. It's possible that I already have a lollipop. I know I have candy canes in my asset library, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and make these lollipops from scratch because there's already a really lovely spiral provided in ZBrush. Yeah, so let's see. I feel like I can, that's like most of the work already done for me. Something else that I could do is I could actually make the spiral myself by taking a long pipe and like a tube and then wrapping it with a bend modifier. I might do that instead because I have a lot of students that watch my live streams and a lot that are gonna ask me about this later anyway. So I might as well do the more difficult but versatile way. Taka's here. Good morning. Feels weird. It's almost evening here. Oh yeah, I bet. I probably should just start saying like good day. But day still implies that the sun is out. Either way. Good to see you. Thanks for coming back. So yeah, this shape is one of the defaults in ZBrush. So to make it have like this lollipop shape, something I can do very easily is just inflate. When your gizmo is up, if you hold Command and click and drag on this little yellow square here, you can inflate the mesh. Whether I'm dragging away or towards will dictate whether it inflates or deflates. So that's a really quick way of doing that. But I also want to show you just really quick, because again, I also teach and I like to provide lots of different options. You could also take a bar like this and go to your 3D Gizmo modifier. So W to pull up your gizmo, click on this little gear, and then you can go to bend curve. You could probably do bend arc to get started as well, but anyway. So you can take this and you can kind of see like what I'm doing here, just manually taking these shapes here, and you can draw this curve. As of now, you're like, oh, this kind of looks like more work. It is more work. However, if you take your time and really have the proper resolution, all that kind of good stuff. Something really cool with the modifier is you can taper it as well, but I'm not gonna spend all the time to do that. I just want to show you guys that that's a really versatile tool you could also use. But this is much easier. We're just gonna use this. It does have this concavity on the back, and I don't want that. So let's go ahead and clean that up. And what I can do is I can mirror across a local axis. So I'm going to enable local symmetry and go to mirror and weld, and then X gives me the wrong axis. That's left to right. It looks fine, but we really want that swirl, right? I believe it's going to be Z, but I can never remember. Haha, I was right. It is Z. Cool. And I can go with move topological, and I can improve this blend here. There we go. Oh, I do want to make sure I don't. Right now I'm kind of fussing with this being a nice blend, but I mean, that's kind of where the stick of the lollipop goes, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay. Very nice. And then how can I get some fun poly paint on this? Because it really is supposed to be like striped, you know? I can just do some basic like centering colors. So maybe I can do a really nice deep pink here. I'll do it on both sides. And then alternate like a white center, and I can do maybe some yellow like polka dots. This isn't super pressing because I designed all this for 3D printing, so the color is not going to affect the actual 3D print at all. 3D printers are not in color quite yet. There are color 3D printers, but they're very, very early and very expensive. Oh, I could kind of use this to get like this stripe effect, huh? It's kind of fun. But for now, we'll just kind of do this simple swirl here. And this is a really good example of like using references, but you don't necessarily copy them like form for form. It's just to get the general idea. Hey, B is here. Hi. Welcome back. My favorite is using frame mesh on a poly loop that spirals. If you want to change the mesh to something else that's spiraling. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, absolutely. Taylor says, snail lollipop. Yeah. I think that's how they actually make them too. It's just like a long tube and they roll it up by hand. My other thing that I'm kind of undecided on right now is that this isn't the most interesting shape to, not print, but to paint. I also want to make sure that these lines here are going to be catching nicely. Kind of thinking and playing with that idea right now. Because I could even go in with my damn standard brush and kind of bulk up these forms a touch. But I need to be careful because it is low poly still. Yeah, just digging that line in a bit more, I'm happier with that. And I'll keep mirroring welding to make sure that we have that shape on both sides. I could also just turn on local symmetry and across the x-axis, so we can just do that too. There we go. And now I won't have to mirror weld, it'll just happen live as I sculpt. I'm really kind of just digging in this form here because even though it's kind of quick and dirty, I really want to make sure that these capture paint nicely. There we are. And a little bit of unevenness can actually kind of be nice in a sculpt. So I'm going to increase resolution by subdividing a few times, and I'm going to toy with the idea of adding these like kind of like these line spirals, kind of the way that you would see in like a candy cane. I'm not certain if I actually want to do that. I just kind of want to toy with how that looks. So I'm just kind of just freehanding some of these lines in here really quick, just to test out how that's going to look. And I'll need to run over that with an inflate brush to really test out that concept. Again, just really doing a quick dirty job here so I can zoom out. Yes, I need to have those lines. That looks much, much more interesting. So now I'm going to undo what I just did and now go back and do a more intentional, soft job with it. B says, this gives me big Night Before Christmas vibes. Oh, I'm glad, honestly. I love Night Before Christmas. It's supposed to be just more on the cute lollipop side, but I could definitely see the Night Before Christmas influences. That's one of my favorite movies, but isn't that everyone's? Okay. I'm also going to go ahead and, before I get too much farther, because this is just like a detailing thing, right? I'm trying to decide if I want to detail this lollipop first and then kind of block out my shapes, or if I want to do it in the other order. Usually I'm working on a character, for example, I build up my base forms first and then I go in detail at the end. But a scattered terrain, like kind of like my order of operations will be different. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and detail this right now. So I'm going to subdivide a few times. Make sure symmetry is active. Trying to get my lazy mouse to be what I'm comfortable with. Going off course a little bit. Doesn't need to be perfect, but it needs to be pretty good. All right, again, not perfect, but pretty good. And I can run over this with my inflate brush. That's going to catch paint really nicely. It's a little more volume on top, and I don't want that. There we go. Straighten that up. And now it's going to add those line swirls I was talking about. I'm going to have a really high Z intensity for this. I want this to be pretty much carving the shape out and increasing my lazy radius. I'm gonna do another segment here, and then I'm gonna zoom out and look at what the overall picture is looking like. Yeah, I like how it looks zoomed out, especially up close. It looks a little messy, but it's definitely better than not having these details here. So I'm going through with a sculpting technique to do all of this, but I definitely could have done this with a modeling approach instead. These like kind of wobbly lines are definitely increasing that Nightmare Before Christmas feel, which I do really like. I'll need to close up the lines on the sides in just a moment, but I'm mostly concerned with the front and side view. And this is kind of that side that I was talking about, which I knew I'd need to come through and clean up. Almost done. I need to decrease my draw size to kind of help with the blend here. There we go. Nice and simple. Let's go ahead and zoom out. Very fun. Pixel Designs here. Hey, welcome back. We're sculpting a lollipop tree today. All right, and now I'm gonna go through and kind of adjust the forms here, if they're going to work. There we go. Because there's some unevenness. All right, that worked out well. And now we can decimate this down. Hello is here. Hello, welcome back. Hey Mia, hi chat. Hope everyone is well. I love the change of vibe for this modeling session. Yeah, something a bit different. We are doing terrain, and it's very, very cute. So kind of Candyland-esque terrain. I don't know why that got kind of pixelated right here. There we go. Ah, because I pre-processed. Interesting. Aloha says, I changed the picture to match Discord so it's not as confusing. That does help me, honestly, because like the way that kind of like build up the community in my head here is like a combination of like your profile picture with your username. And a lot of you guys are here and also in my Discord, so every now and then I'm like, what is happening? Same person? I think it's the same person. For a while there, I had like 5 different marks, and I was like, you guys all really have the same name. All right, I'm actually gonna export this swirl. It's not like masterfully done necessarily, but it's a nice little item for me to add and build around. I'll just call it a candy spiral. There we go. All right, now let's get to this part that I was really excited about, which is positioning all these different like lollipop and candy pieces. I'm following this reference right here somewhat closely, but obviously really giving it my own flair. Like, do I want these sitting on top? Because that kind of makes sense. I also think it'd be nice if I had a few more branches. So I'm going to mask these pieces here, and let's go ahead and duplicate and move that. There we go. Oh, if you guys hear barking, that's my dog. He's asleep. He barks in his sleep. So if you hear like dog whining, it's just my pug. Yep, there he goes. He's a very heavy sleeper. If he wakes up while I'm streaming, I'll bring him up here so you guys can see him. Yeah, I'm liking the silhouette of the tree a lot more. Though, now that I'm doing this, it kind of makes me want to make different variations of this tree. We'll see. Yeah, this blend here is coming out a little odd, isn't it? I can come in with my standard brush and smooth and just make a nicer transition. I can do the same with my inflate. There we go. All right, now that we have this shape happening, I like having these 2 curly cues underneath. It's a lot more stable. It's gonna be really important to have different sizes of candies. It's just gonna make this look more interesting. I don't know if they're reading like perfectly as lollipop, which is kind of the way that I painted them. But it's definitely reading as whimsy and fun, so I'm happy with that. Aloha says, everyone in the Discord was so nice and welcoming. I'm really excited to join the student program. Sorry it took so long. Yeah, no worry at all. Let's see. I do want to let you know, Aloha, if you scroll up to the top of the chat, I do have a discount code that you're welcome to use, and it gets you 10% off your first month. So, just letting you know. And that goes for anyone here. Here, one second. Instead of talking about it, I will just paste it. There we go. So that, I also teach how to make your own characters and creations in ZBrush. And if you want to learn how to do that and get 10% off, I should probably say what that is. That's the code. It applies whether or not you do it for a month or a year. So I think it stacks. So you can get a pretty good discount because I already offer a discount for annual memberships anyway. I'm not sure if it lets you stack both of them, but I guess you could find out. And then Taylor says, are the branches licorice? They are now. That's a great idea. Oh wow, this tree is coming out honestly even cuter than I expected. My gosh. I need to be careful that if I want to move these around, not to just smush them with my move brush, because it's really, I don't want to ruin any of those lines. I can adjust the tree to match the lollipops, not so much the other way around. I think it'd be nicer, I have an idea here. This branch here just needs to move off to the side a little bit, and it also needs to be larger. That's going to improve the balance of this model. And then I'll take this piece and scoot it on over. I'm doing all of these deformations and translations right now, just using the 3D gizmo. You can use the transpose line, but I usually only use that when I'm posing. All right, and then this base that's on is really cute and simple, but I'd like to continue these forms as well. So let's make this a little more interesting. It's important that it's the same height, roughly, because again, these are all designed to be 3D printed. Just doing like a classic tier there. Very nice. I'm not even sure what I want to put right here. Oh, you know, I can bring up my asset library so I can show you that to you guys too. It's kind of fun to see. I have a bunch of these. These are, I sculpted everything in these. And I kind of saved them for myself to reference and use throughout the years. And I know I have a candy cane that I like quite a lot. Yep, I made this last year when I made my gingerbread warriors. So I've been doing this full time for 5 years, but I haven't started really saving like my asset libraries until like the last year or so, which is probably for the best because my skill set's always improving and changing, and even now, I'm already updating a lot of my pieces. There we go. So I can kind of like add some little candy cane sticks down here. I'm gonna go to the side silhouette and make them really wide. That just will make it so they print really easily too. And then I like doing things in odd or even groupings and putting them next to each other. If that doesn't make sense, I can kind of show you guys later, like, nothing's actually random, you know, everything is always, has a very like distinct flow to it. There we go. Isn't that cute? Oh, excuse me. All right. I swear I'm not sick. I was sick for like a week and a half earlier in December, so I actually missed a week of live streaming, but I've been happy to be back. I still feel like we're missing a little something here, so maybe I can make these a little more almost like a gumdrop shaped. There we are. Just adding some more interesting shapes. And sometimes I like having ambiguous areas of detail, so that way when it's printed, people kind of paint it into whatever they want. Aloha says, oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, you're so welcome. I believe that code lasts through Friday? I can't remember. Royce is here. Good morning. I've missed your end of the stream questions. All right, so we're 30 minutes into the stream here, and I'm really, really happy with the progress. It's been a really lively stream. It warms my heart to see you guys all kind of come in, and I can't believe how many names I recognize in the chat. I mean, I think every single person that's commented has been here before, and it's just cool to see you guys. It really is. Alrighty. If you're new here and you're lurking in the chat and being shy, I see you, and hi and welcome. I am a lurker myself. Unless I am the content, I don't engage with any communities. I'm part of like 20 different Discord servers for all the video games that I like, and I might get bold and leave like a react sometimes, but that's it. Is there anything else that's kind of Christmassy and cute? Just putting cookies I think is a little eh. Even donuts I feel like don't quite fit. What do you guys think? Do you think donuts would fit? I can just kind of put some donuts as details in the ground. It wouldn't hurt. Maybe a few donuts. The requester specifically wanted this for like a food-based, like a Candyland D&D setting, so adding some of these cute donuts would actually be really fitting. Nothing else in here fits. This is my asset library of all my odds and ends and items. Usually it's a little more cohesive, like I have this for like shirts and for shoes. All right, I want to poly paint this. Oh, I don't have the icing as a separate color. Bummer. That's okay. Maybe, what would be a good color for the donut? I don't think green is a very good food color. We can just do pink to match the tree, and then perhaps white for the sprinkles, just something real simple. Oops. There we go. That's fun. And I'll put a couple donuts throughout. Oh, B suggests ribbons on the candy canes or bows. Oh my goodness, yeah, no, I just got rid of my, I'll bring that back. I have a really cute bow for that too. And then Taylor says, what if there was a cavity in the tree for a candy owl to sit inside of? Oh, that'd be really cute. I don't want to sculpt a whole new brand new owl for this, but that's a really good idea. I can really kind of get whimsical and fun with these branches though. Gosh, this is already looking really strong. Okay, I need to add the bows. The bows was a really good idea because it's kind of like a present. I have a really simple, nice bow ready to go. Bam. Thank you, B. B is also a fantastic artist, so it does not surprise me that they have good suggestions. Same goes for Taylor. I actually have a lot of creatives that hang out here. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, I like the bow a lot. We're gonna make it much wider. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna put the bow on every candy cane or just a couple. Let me paint the center of it white just a bit, just so it kind of, I liked it on this one the most, I think. But I could just put it on all three. Let's put it on all three and see what we think. I also need to move this around just a little bit so it's not just perfectly stiff. Yep, there we go. That's nice and bulked up. That'll print well. It's a nice little detail. And then same with the donut. The donut needs to get moved around. I also need to decimate this. Let's bring that down to 5,000 points. It doesn't need to be 25,000 points. All right. Just some more sweets. I know people in my Patreon community are gonna love painting this. This is gonna be a lot of fun. And then just a moment here, we'll move on to the actual tree itself and get some detail on those branches. Just adding a few more donuts. That's probably good. All right, there we are. Ooh, more ideas. Taka says honey or resin on the side of the tree. I like that idea, especially if it was painted like a gold, but I'm kind of worried it's gonna come across like ooze or like a big booger on the side of the tree, but I'm interested in that, the concept. Oh, and then someone new is here, Troopies Gaming. Hi, welcome. Do you commissions or is everything done through Patreon? I very, very rarely do commissions. At this point, yeah, I'm pretty much entirely Patreon focused. My average commission without commercial rights is around $300, and then that's not very easy for most people to swing. And I don't love the revision process sometimes, like the back and forthness. I kind of like to take an idea and just run with it. And that's why I love doing Patreon. So everything I sculpt on stream is actually a request on Patreon. So it's $15 a month, and you can submit a request every single month. And I accept every request. If I don't like something that you requested, let's say if it's not the right genre, or if it's like like you asked for like something from Star Wars. Like I can't do IP. That's not mine, right? I just work with you and I'm like, hey, what if we do something inspired by that? Something like that. Roy says, gingerbread man / woman somewhere maybe. Excuse me. I could do that, and I do have gingerbread warriors already. They're like full-fledged characters, so I might just leave those be printed separately, but really good idea. Because those are actually sentient, and they have like little candy cane swords and stuff. I did those last year. All right, this is actually looking pretty darn finished in a lot of ways. Scatter terrain is so much fun for me, and I don't get a lot of people requesting scatter terrain. If you guys are curious what I'm talking about, this is my Patreon for printable models and all that good stuff. And then specifically what I'm working off of right now are request boards. So this is my request board for December. I'm actually not working on this request board right now. I do them monthly in an order. I think I just finished September, and so now I'm working on August. But yeah, I do different request boards per month to make sure nobody gets missed. And I put them all into this big spreadsheet, and I kind of just work through order. If you want to skip the line, you can. I offer like priority tickets so you can spend extra to get yours done right away. But for the most part, people are pretty patient, and they will request models for things that are in their next campaign, or maybe like the big bag evil guy, and they know it's a few months out. So it's a pretty good system. I've been doing it since May of this year, and it's just been an absolute delight, and I plan to do it for all of 2025 as well. So yeah, it's a pretty good time. If you're interested in that, you can go check it out. And to get like my models and stuff on Patreon, you have to be a supporter, but there is an option to join for free, and I do freebies pretty often, so it's worth hanging around. All right, is there anything else in here I want to add? I don't believe so. The bows on the candy cane are very, very precious. I quite like that. All right, I'm gonna subdivide this a few times, and right now I'm just kind of thinking of how I want to detail this. I think I'm gonna go through here manually and just add some really nice like carved lines and swirls. I think this would be the best way to do that. I might need to Dynamesh this together first so I can blend all the seams. B says, you know, I gotta get on this Patreon thing. As a creator yourself or joining mine? I recommend both. The trick with Patreon, if you're a creator and you're kind of looking to, you know, like get stable income from it, if you don't already have a pre-existing like community, I don't super recommend it. It's okay to have it in the back burner. It's a very slow burn. So I've been doing this for about 5 years, and I was very, very lucky when I first started designing for 3D printing. There wasn't a whole lot of people in the market, so it was an easy time for me to really like get my work out there and get a lot of exposure very quickly. Obviously, I've since done the work to maintain that and grow. But it is a little tricky to start up. And then B says both. I'm flattered. Oh, someone new is here. I'm gonna call you Flux because it reminds me of like flux capacitor, which is fun. Flux says, hi, I just got here from you to recommend it. I have zero experience in 3D modeling, but was always interested in it. So this is very enlightening. Oh yeah, awesome. Perfect. If you have any questions, please let me know. I give mentorship programs on how to use ZBrush. That's a program I'm using. So I teach for fun. It's a mentorship program, people pay for it, but I started it just because I love to teach so much, which means I love answering questions. So no question is too basic. Most of my students are brand new beginners. So please, if you have any questions, I'm an open book. And then B says, my fear is just not delivering per month because I'm a slow sculptor. Yeah, no, I get you. Find what works best for you as far as what you always under promise and over deliver. That's very, very important when you're dealing with Patreon. Oh, apparently B and Sparky know each other. I love that. That's so fun. Sparkzilla. All right, so I've went ahead and Dynamesh this tree here. And if you're wondering, like, what does Dynamesh mean? Dynamesh is a feature in ZBrush. Let me zoom in. So this is the before, and this is the after. You can kind of see it's like, oh, it kind of blurred the seams together. And that's pretty much true. It takes these discrete pieces here, and it will blend them or remesh them. That's why it's dynamic mesh into one continuous piece here. You can also adjust the resolution to prevent some of that blurriness you guys just saw. But yeah, that's Dynamesh. It's a really, really strong tool. And I think it's one of the more unique features to ZBrush. So now I'm gonna go through here and smooth all of these seams. And that's gonna allow me to start detailing this tree, which I'll be kind of going through with Dam Standard and having these really nice, pretty swirls to complement it. And then B says, yes, Sparksilla is the homegirl. That doesn't surprise me. Like, I could tell right away on Twitter, I'm like, you have a really good vibe. And Flex says, oh, sorry, Flex is fine. And for now, I'm enjoying watching how the process even works. Oh, good. Yeah, it's kind of relaxing and like methodical to watch. Sparky says, yeah, I'm headed to bed now. Gonna lurk though. Yeah, sounds good. I know it's super late where you're at. So thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I know time zones are tricky. Alrighty. So then we have this beautiful tree here. Some of the branches are getting a little thin. It depends on how large you would 3D print this, but I like for things to be as easy as possible. So a nice way to kind of trick some volume is going to move and backface mask and click and drag. So I'm adding a bunch of volume, but you have to be careful because if you can make a mess very quickly. So I'm just kind of going through and I'm adding as much volume as possible before it starts to become just a big blob. I also like adding volume in a way that pushes the silhouette further in a more interesting way. So for example, I have this beautiful like S curve happening here, so I'll push farther to the right and farther to the left and just exaggerate that shape even more. And it makes it more 3D print friendly, so it's a win-win for everyone. Sometimes you get some weird seams and blurriness like this, so I can just go ahead and re-Dynamesh and smooth. You also could do the same kind of technique with the inflate brush, but it gets a bit more blobby that way. I'm gonna go ahead and pin this tree up here. I'm gonna put a stamp on my canvas, and I can do that by holding Shift and clicking the letter S. S for stamp. There we go. So that way when I'm working, if someone just kind of tunes in, they can see what in the world is going on. So to get these kind of like streaky lines up here, I'm going to use Dam Standard and Lazy Radius enabled. I like to have it about 30, but it really just depends whatever complements the natural shake in your hand, I guess. Aloha says, hey, I'm now officially a student. Am I cool now? Oh, I'm so excited to teach you. Yes, the coolest. After my stream, I'll make sure to send you your welcome message and get you started, all that good stuff. So, yay, I'm so excited to have you. That deserves confetti. Whee! No, I was surprised how much I love teaching. So I initially started making videos and giving like kind of like tutorial content on the side just for myself because there wasn't a whole lot of resources for me. And I made videos I wished were out there. And then after a while, it just became like a fun thing. And I found that the more that I taught, the better I got as an artist as well. So it's been a really fun upward spiral. Okay, confetti's over, but I'm still excited. Taylor says, what does stamp actually do? Is just a picture there or an actual 3D object? It is just a picture. I purely do it to make the live streams a little easier to follow. Every now and then I'll do it to get kind of like a further away view of my model, kind of like just to keep reevaluating the silhouette and seeing what direction I'm pushing it. Fun fact, ZBrush isn't technically a 3D program. ZBrush is a 2.5D program. For a long time, it was just like to do like 2D sketching and stuff. That's also why it is more, I think, GPU based, because you're really just seeing a bunch of stitched together 2D images that fake 3D, like it's not true 3D on the back end. Obviously, you can make 3D models, you can export, all that kind of stuff, but the way that it's actually functioning on the back end is pretty interesting. So yeah, the more you know. All right, I'm gonna take a quick break here and then I'm gonna come back. I need to get some water. But thank you guys so much. This has been a really lively stream. I hope your Monday is off to a better start because of it. If you're enjoying the live stream, if you like this live stream, it does really help. But more importantly, I'd rather you subscribe if you're having a good time because then it'll be easier to find me if you hang out again. All right, it is 11:50 and I'm returning at 11:55 a.m. Eastern Time. Oh, Sen's here. Hi. I've been lurking in the past few streams and wanted to say this is looking beautiful. Thank you so much, Sen. Always good to see you. Alright, I'll be back in 5 minutes. Oh, and if you're interested in either my 3D printable models or learning how to sculpt from me, because I do mentorship, there's links in the description of the live stream. Okay, I'll be back. Alrighty, let's get my music going again. Today I'm listening to Animal Crossing Lo-Fi with Rain. I actually haven't played Animal Crossing in a while. Maybe it's about time. And then Taylor was confused about ZBrush. aren't we all? Taylor says, I don't understand how it's just a 2.5D program when it actually exports 3D geometry and looks 3D in the viewport and works like 3D. It relies on polygons. No, I totally understand. Let me see if I can find a little write-up about it. Yeah, it's just like stitching together 2D images. If you Google it, there is some Reddit posts out there that do a better job explaining it. Oh no, B is correct. It's wizards. Yes, it's just magic. Yes, very good. Alema also says, all you need to know is that ZBrush runs on black magic and witchcraft considering how much it's able to do. That's about my feelings on it as well. Okay. Well, this is going to be a pretty short stream, y'all, because I'm about done with this model. I'm going to detail it, and that's going to button this right up. I kind of feel bad because there's so many people here, but I guess an hour stream isn't terribly short. Usually my streams are about 2 hours or so that's why it feels so quick to me. But sometimes it's just a quick stream. If you're just tuning in, I did all of this live, so you could actually rewind to the beginning of the stream and kind of see this all come together in the last like 45 minutes or so. I guess except for the candy canes, I just imported those. I made those last year. All right, so now what I'm gonna do here is start to detail and give like this licorice swirl-like appearance. I'm doing this for 2 reasons. 1, I feel like this model needs a bit more detail to balance it out. And 2, all this is designed to be 3D printed. And I'm not very good at painting. I can paint digitally, but not like in real life. I rely on contrast paints and speed paints quite a bit. So if there aren't like cavities and areas for paint to catch, it's very hard for me to paint. So by doing all these swirls and stuff, it's gonna make this much easier for me to paint. All right, I'm gonna have pretty high Z intensity and I'm gonna lower my draw size so I can get these really nice, clean cut lines. And it's gonna be very important for me to have lazy mouse turned on, so it's gonna smooth out my strokes. I'm gonna kind of just follow the contour of the tree here. I might need to add some resolution. It's a little pixelated here. I'm gonna follow this line wherever like its natural end is. I'm also going to smooth this transition point and then try to pull this line with as little bumpiness as possible. There we go. So that's kind of our first contour line, and we're going to build off of that. We're going to have some lines that are close together, farther. We want to make sure it's not just a blanket of wall-to-wall texture without a lot of breathability. Aloha says, I need a Monster Hunter zone in Wilds based around cute candy theme, right? Oh, gosh, I'm so excited for Wilds too. And then Ricky, that's my husband, he's reminding y'all, don't forget to like the stream if you haven't already. It really does help. And if you're having a good time, subscribe. It's so much easier to find me in the future. B says, I keep mine resin gray and that's about it. And he's talking about like 3D prints, or they're talking about 3D prints. Yeah, I feel the same way. Sparky says, a delicious tree. Yeah, isn't it cute? Alrighty, and then a reminder that my schedule is Thursday through Monday, which means I'll be taking Tuesday and Wednesday off, but I'll be back on Thursday. It's been nice having days off in the middle of a normal work week, especially with the holidays, all this festive stuff going on. Honestly, stuff isn't too busy out here, but it's nice to enjoy things when it's especially quiet. My dog is snoring pretty good again. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but there's some cute dog snoring going on. I was gonna bring him up and show him to you guys if he woke up during the stream, but it did. Looks like that's not going to happen. Maybe next stream we'll have a little Maverick cameo. So I'm spending a lot of time here making sure that these swirls really follow the lines. I also think there's a good possibility or potential for a spiral on the side of the tree here. Just some more little bit of visual interest. Yes, that's very nice. I think I can hide one more spiral right here. A pitfall I see all my students fall into is finding a texture they like, and then they just cover the whole model and they have the exact same texture. You really want to try to like vary it up and always think of like your primary, secondary, and tertiary forms, even when you're detailing something. Wow, this is really relaxing. What a fun, cute model. I've worked on a lot of like spooky, grim, dark stuff recently. Like, I did quite a few ghouls last month. I actually just released those graveyard ghouls on Patreon. Quite a few of you here right now were there for that stream last month. That was a fun stream too. That one was long too. I think it went like 4 hours or something. That was the beginning of what inspired me to have this timer going. Like, I don't need it right now. I just have it when I think I need a little help to stay on track. Again, I did not sleep well all last night, so I started the stream very, very sleepy. I have since perked up. It's been a really lively stream. I think the person that requested this on Patreon is going to be very, very happy with it. When I first started Patreon 2019, or was it the very end 2018, I never expected it to be such a big part of what I do. I think it's just the coolest thing that like all the models I make now are kind of a collaborative effort in a way. It's kind of like creative crowdsourcing almost. It just makes me happy to know that every request that I do here on stream, it kind of turns to be like a little present for just that one person, because people request stuff that's most pertinent to their campaign that they're running. Every now and then I get requests that are for like a Christmas tree topper, maybe someone's like an angel or that kind of thing. For the most part, this is going to go on a table in front of a group of people, and it's cool to be part of a creative experience like that. And I'm also kind of shy, so the idea of actually being part of the group doesn't sound very fun, but the idea of making art for that experience makes me very happy. That's my favorite way to be involved, tangentially involved. All right, we're just about done detailing this. We have a really nice flow here, some really strong, confident lines. Some of the spacing got a little samey, but it's gonna make it really readable too. That also allows, if someone prints this on a smaller scale, these lines won't get too jumbled. All right. Making sure to pay special attention to the underside of the branches too. I don't want anything to get forgotten about. That added a lot to the tree. Oh, I just love that. Bea says, I gotta make more environment pieces. This looks like a fun build. It really has been a fun time. It looks good from both sides too. It's a little plainer as far as a tree goes, but again, it's like this lollipop candy tree, and I think it'd be pretty one-sided. Sent says, take this as you will, but you don't come across as shy at all. You talk really confident, engage with chat more than other streams I've watched. Yeah, I guess shy isn't like a good way to explain it. I'm like, I joke that I'm like an emotional cactus. Like, I just don't need much watering. Like, I don't need a whole lot of social interaction before I'm pretty much like full and like done. I guess being in like very social situations, like it wears me out. Like I'm very on. But you're right. I enjoy talking. I don't mind being the center of attention. I like hosting. I've always liked throwing parties and stuff. But like for very like compartmentalized amounts of time, if that makes sense. Like I do very well by myself. Like people mention, so my husband and I, we work together, right? And they're like, oh, like you spend so much time together, does that ever bother you? And I'm like, no, because we do a very good job like being alone together, if that makes sense. Like we're really able to do our own thing as well. And that's always been very, very important to me. Like in college, like I had so much I needed to work on and do. I could go like days without talking to anybody, and that did not bother me. So I guess it's a better way to put it. I'm maybe not shy. I'm just very naturally and happy solitary, if that makes sense. But I have always enjoyed, like I like people. I like talking to people. Yeah, shy probably isn't the word for it. It can be though. Oh my goodness. Especially like depending like the kind of people that I'm around. Like if I admire them, oh goodness, I don't say anything. Ooh, that's a really nice color to highlight this. This tree is pretty much done, y'all. That was really quick. Oh, someone new is here, or at least you haven't commented before. 6-second silence. I'm gonna call you Silence, because that's kind of fun and dramatic. Silence says, do you feel like the mess/chemicals involved in resin printing is worth the trade-off for more detailed miniature prints compared to PLA? I do. I also like the meticulousness of it though. I like the process of like getting all my gear out. Like I have my gloves and I have my paper towel station laid out, and like I'm very organized and detailed, and so for me it's like a fun process. But it is hard to beat just having FDM print straight off. And you can definitely print FDM minis. Like this is FDM. I sculpted this. I'm sorry if this is not very easy to see. My camera likes to focus on my face, understandably, because it's a face camera. But if you don't mind like not getting super up on your models, like you can definitely print them in FDM and it's just fine. You need a pretty nice FDM printer to do it. I have a Bamboo Lab and they're so fancy. Oh my goodness. So I'd recommend that route. But as far as like overall, if you do want details, I think the trade-off is just fine. I'm also a very tidy and meticulous person, so I keep a very, very clean workspace, and I have this dedicated space for it. If not, it could be a bit of a pain. And then Ricky, that's my husband, also the other half of M3DM, has some follow-up on that, saying, yes, absolutely, the detail from resin prints is unmatched. I have printed many minis in FDM. While impressive, yeah, it doesn't come close. I agree with them. B says, I always joke and tell my folks I'm cooking meth when I put my mask and gloves on and glasses on printing. The mask is a little excessive, but I definitely commend your safety. Just don't drink it. Don't slather it on your skin. That's about it. Silent says, sorry, I'm not familiar with the terminology. So it's FDM, not PLA. That's a very good question. Yeah, so FDM stands for Fusion Deposition Modeling, I believe it is. And then PLA is the material. So FDM is the type of printer, and PLA is like polycarbonate something. That's just the filament itself. So you could also, you can use an FDM printer to print PLA, ABS, PETG. Those are just the materials that go into an FDM printer. Good question. Lots of acronyms. And yeah, Ricky elaborated that in much less words. Thank you, honey. Aloha says, wow, that highlight at the end out of the lot looks amazing. Thank you. And then Roy says, end of the stream soon? Yeah, it is soon. I finished this model really, really quickly. Roy says, mountains or beaches? Definitely mountains. I grew up in California, only 3 hours away from the beach and 2 hours away from the mountains. So I had both available to me, and nothing beats mountains for me. I am a nature hike girly all the way. Another new person is here. Goodness, I finished this stream so quickly, or this model, so I'm happy to just answer questions. Shot says, are you an engineer or designer by trade, or is it just for the love of miniatures? Great question. So I do this full time, but I do have my bachelor's in mechanical engineering. So good question. I graduated from Fresno State University in 2019, just before the pandemic. Thank God. And Ricky also agrees, mountains. Yeah, that makes sense. We're married, we're very similar. And then Silent says, I've seen a lot of really high quality prints from bamboo, particularly on a small nozzle. Maybe just because I bought a P1S. Yeah, maybe. Bamboo is hard to beat. B says, gotta jet out, lunchtime, great stream. Yeah, thanks for being here, I really appreciate it. And then Jacques just subscribed, thank you so much. This is like the end of the stream. I do stream very consistently, Thursday through Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Very, very consistent with it, unless I'm like deathly ill or it's my birthday. I missed this last Saturday because I turned 28, so woo, I'm 28 now. But yeah, this is the end of the stream, so I'm going to have a little celebration going on here. Thank you guys so much for being here. I do offer all of these models, the 3D printable models, on my Patreon. And I don't do like monthly releases and get cute with it. You just get my entire backlog at once, which is nearing 1,000 models at this point. So if you're looking for anything to 3D print, that's my Patreon. Oh, and Sparky mentioned it's polylactic acid, PLA. Thank you. It's polymer, carbonate, material. Oh, goodness. But I'll stick around for just a moment longer in case you guys have any additional questions. Flux says, thank you for the stream. It was fun to watch, and happy late birthday. Thank you. I appreciate it, guys. All right, I'll see you guys on Thursday. This was a really good time. I usually stream for like another 30 minutes or so, but this just came together really quickly. If you are interested in putting in your own Patreon request, everything I sculpt on stream is for my patrons. Someone requests it, I make it, and I share it with everyone that supports me on Patreon. So yeah. I think that's everything. Oh, and if you want to learn how to 3D sculpt yourself, I do teach as well. All the links in the description for all that good stuff. But I hope you guys have a great start to your week, and I'll see you guys on Thursday, okay? Well, take care. Bye.